Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Saturday night at 8 on KFTY, television north of the gate.
The events you're about to see and hear are true. Real cops, real cases, real criminals. Stories told by the cops who lived them and will remember them the rest of their lives. Top Cops.
November is harvest time in Mexico for marijuana, which means that it's a very busy time for those of us who work for the U.S. Border Patrol in Arizona. On Friday, November 14th, 1988, I was working the 4 to midnight shift. Because it was narcotics season, this was a special shift to cover midnight traffic on I-10, a big drug smuggling route where loads of marijuana from Mexico are routinely shuttled to Tucson. We had already confiscated 3,000 pounds so far that November, but we knew there was a lot more to come. Marijuana smugglers use a number of methods to ship their cargo from border points to their distribution centers in the city. Most of the methods involve accomplices or mules who don't know who they are working for, but are paid simply to transport the load from one place to another. They would be accompanied by another man they'd never met, driving a nearly identical truck which would run interference for them if law enforcement showed up. Antonio Delfino and Esteban Barrosa were each to be paid $1,000 to bring 1,907 pounds of marijuana into Tucson. Part of the law enforcement presence that would be looking for them was myself and my partner.
Hola, Brenna.
Hola, Diana. You ready to go? Sure.
Anything special today?
Oh, not yet. I'm sure there will be. Intelligence says we got a couple of big loads come up tonight, maybe up to a ton.
Deanna was a trainee who'd been on the job for about a year, and part of my job was giving her pointers. Border Patrol training is very strenuous. Our trainee agents even have to pass tests while they are working. If they don't continue.
How do you know which vehicles to stop?
Calling in plates is best. Anything unusual should be checked out. You know, if somebody's way out of their locale or a vehicle's changed hands recently. Sometimes you can tell just by the way the driver acts. You know, is he nervous when we pull up next to him? Is his car part of a caravan, one backing up the other? Does his driving change once he spots you? That guy looks okay, but run his plate anyway.
144 plate number.
Go ahead, 144.
Arizona plate, CPL 460.
I wanted Deanna to understand why we were going after some vehicles and letting others go. This particular van was okay.
But if you had to count on one thing to make somebody, what would it be?
Sitting on the shoulder or the medium where I can see their faces. I love that oh no look when they spot you.
Think we'll catch anybody tonight?
Don't worry, it won't be long before we get some action. Those look interesting. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look.
Well, there's a totality of observations that make you think a vehicle is carrying drugs. One of the most indicative is the driver suddenly becoming erratic when they realize we're after them.
¿Por qué lo pasaste? ¿Algo mal? La policía viene atrás.
See that move when we first pulled in behind him?
What, passing the other van?
Yeah, something isn't right. Get on the radio and run his plate.
144, we need ID on plate numbers.
Go ahead, 144.
2 numbers. First is Arizona BL4316. Second, also Arizona NC8743.
While Deanna called in the plate numbers, I pulled closer to the trailing van, which had slowed to about 30 miles an hour in a 65-mile-an-hour zone.
This thing's got a minimum speed of 45. I think this guy's trying intentionally to slow us down.
We can only stop one of them. Which should it be?
Let's stop this guy. Let the other one go for now.
But if he's trying to slow us down.
Yeah, well, let's make sure that's what he's doing. Get Clyde on the radio, see if he can pick up the other one.
Clyde Benzenhofer, our supervisor, was in another cruiser about 20 miles away at our offices in Tucson.
144 to 101, come in, please.
101, come in 144.
101, we're northbound on I-10 following a suspicious white GM van and letting another one go. It is white with the word Zenith on the side in red letters. Arizona plate NC8743.
Right, I'll be on the lookout for it.
Plate on the marked van came back clean. A subsequent call determined that the registration on the one we were behind was to a Hispanic male out of Phoenix. It had expired 2 years ago. That told us immediately that something was wrong. No legitimate businessman lets his license expire for 2 years.
Deanna, cover the passenger side. U.S. Border Patrol, sir. May I ask your citizenship? And I'd like to see some identification, please.
I don't have to show you anything. What'd you stop me for?
Would you open the back of the van for me?
No. You got no reason to go looking.
Sir, if you'll just cooperate and let us look inside, we can all be on our way.
You want to look in my van, get yourself a search warrant. I know my rights, lady.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Have a nice evening.
It was becoming obvious that he was just stalling us so the other truck could get away.
He was just fooling, right?
Yeah, no sense even messing with him. That tells you if they're moving anything, it's got to be in the other van. Okay, get on the radio. Give them the ID of the decoy back there. Then keep updating them on our location. Give them mile markers and every exit we pass that the cargo could have taken.
Drug traffickers know that law enforcement agencies can only dedicate so many officers and vehicles to stopping their cargoes. Each time an officer can be delayed or forced to search for a suspect vehicle, the traffickers' chances of successfully delivering their drugs are increased. The sad facts are that if the majority of drug shipments weren't getting through, the traffickers wouldn't continue to bring them in. I knew we had to catch up to the van before the highway narrowed down to one lane at a construction zone just outside Tucson. There were just too many exits there he could take, and we could lose him in city traffic.
Brenna, there it is, just ahead.
¡Carajo, maldita sea! Hoy tuve un mantenimiento todo el día. ¡Abajo! Dijeron que iba a ser fácil. Yo no quiero ir a la cárcel. Tenemos que salir por aquí.
Just turning down Valencia. Let's get some backup over here.
Arizona plate NC8743. Off I-10 onto Valencia. We need backup.
Ahora sí que vamos a parar en la cárcel. ¡Lo sabía! ¡Cállate! ¡Déjame pensar! ¡Mira! ¡Un semáforo en rojo!
When the van first stopped, I figured he was not going any further, so I opened the door to get out.
¡Antonio, qué estás haciendo! ¡Perdiéndolo!
An off-duty deputy who was passing by stopped to help.
Sheriff's deputy! Need some help here?
Here, you keep an eye on this one. I'll go help a partner.
All right.
We had just finished cuffing Barrosa, who was no problem at all, when Clyde Benzenhofer arrived on the scene.
You okay, Deanna?
Yeah, I got him.
See what's inside. Well, what have we here? Usted tiene derecho a permanecer en silencio. Lo que diga puede ser usado en tu contra. Usted tiene derecho a un abogado. Si no tiene un abogado, no puede buscarle a uno.
The truck contained 1,907 pounds of marijuana, which had a street value of over $1.5 million. Barrosa was more cooperative than Delfino, but they both admitted to being paid $1,000 to deliver the marijuana to an unknown location in Tucson. They were supposed to connect with somebody at Valencia Road, but of course we got them first.
When we return, Sheriff Jim McKinney tries to rescue an abducted woman.
Top Cops is brought to you in part by the makers of Dimetap. Doctors recommend Dimetap for their families and yours. Maxwell House Cappuccino.